antiparasitics really have a dozen mechanisms of action. Each of them has a dozen mechanisms of action by which they act on cancer. They act on cancer at the cellular level. They change the cell. They change, some of the genetic expression of the cell. So they shut down certain things that the tumor cell produces. It's really, really fascinating. For ivermectin, it really goes after cancer stem cells. And this is where it is a beautiful addition to chemo, because chemo will kill rapidly dividing cells. So it kills, let's say, 95% of the tumor cells that are rapidly dividing, but cancer stem cells don't rapidly divide. That's not their nature. They sit in the tumor and they wait, and they might start dividing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and they spread to other parts of the body. And that's why chemo is not curative in 98% of the cases. They will always tell you chemo is palliative, not curative. Those are keywords, by the way. When the oncologist tells you palliative versus curative, those are keywords to tell you we can't cure you with chemo. And they know why, because they can't kill the cancer stem cells. And so ivermectin can actually go in and kill those cancer stem cells. That's something that chemo is not capable of doing. That's why we're seeing results with chemo plus ivermectin that oncologists have never seen, because they have never seen cancer cell killing that is so good and tumor shrinkage that is so dramatic. When you add the ivermectin, you're targeting the cancer stem cells. So that is a fascinating feature of ivermectin. Another feature of ivermectin is it's able to reverse resistance to chemo that cancer cells develop. And so ivermectin will go in and it'll actually change the cancer cells from being able to pump chemo out of them, and now they're chemo resistant. It actually removes the ability of cancer cells to do that. It inhibits those pumps that pump the chemo back out. Now the tumor cell is susceptible to chemo again. The patient gets chemo and the cancer cells are all killed. Again, these are just two of the dozen mechanisms that researchers have found. And this has all been proven in preclinical research. That's why there's over 400 papers on ivermectin and cancer, not because it's something that's, it's a fad or something curious. They've studied the molecular mechanisms of how ivermectin is attacking cancer. And this is where, a lot of doctors who make fun of ivermectin or who attack ivermectin, this is really where they show their ignorance of the research. These 400 papers, most of them published in the last 5 years, that go into the mechanisms of how ivermectin is doing this. And same with fenbendazole and mebendazole. Quick example is fenbendazole and mebendazole, also antiparasitics. They kill different types of worms and parasites than ivermectin does. They shut down glucose transporters on cancer cells. So they prevent the cancer cell from taking up glucose and using it as a fuel source. And that's one of the major ways. Exactly. Sugars. This is one of the major ways by which tumors grow. When they have access to sugar, they use it as fuel, and then you have these rapidly dividing cells that have plenty of fuel to grow. So they shut down tumor growth by shutting down these glucose transporters. So that's a fascinating mechanism. Again, you don't see that with any type of chemo, any type of immunotherapy. There's no other fancy drug on the market that does that.